In this piano tutorial, we'll be learning the song Trading My Sorrows in the key of A flat major. And like always, I'll be sharing my approach to the song, which includes some gospel or jazz chord substitutions and passing chords. Now, what I like about this song is that the progression in the beginning verses, right? It's only 4 chords. Very easy to learn, but also it allows us to be creative with the chords that we use, okay? So let's start off with the explaining the progression of the song, right? So very simple. We start on the 1, which is A flat. Then we go to the 4, which is C sharp or D flat, right? Then the 6 chord, which is an F minor. And then the 5 chord, which is an E flat major, okay? Very easy progression, right? 1, 4, 6, 5. Very easy to learn, right? So I want to introduce a concept that we can use within this song, right? And it's known as pedal point, right? And all this means is that we're going to maintain a note, in this case the last note, or the note, the highest note. We're going to maintain that note the same throughout the whole progression, right? In this case, that note is going to be E flat, which is the 5, right? So we start off on the 1, right? In this case, A flat major add 2. And a minor adjustment that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the 1 from the bass note to the 3. So technically this is a 1/3 chord, right? We're going to play like this. And then for the 4 chord, we're going to play, right, a D flat or a C sharp, but we're still going to maintain this pedal point, right, this E flat. And I'm actually going to voice it as a C sharp major 9, right? And a simple theoretical explanation for major 9. When it's a major 9 chord, all it means is that we have the major 7th and the major 9th, right? And that major 9th is also known as the 2nd, but it's an octave above, okay? So far we have this chord, then this chord for the 4, and then for the 6 chord, right, we have different options. We can play an F minor 7, right, where we include this still the same note, that 5, or in this case the minor 7 for the F minor, okay? So that's one option we have. We can also include some more extensions, right? We can include the 9th, which is down here. We can also include the 11th. In this case, since it's a minor chord, the 11th fits well, right? So that gives us an F minor 11. The 11th is simply the 4th chord, right? B flat up an octave, okay? So again, we have the 1/3, the 4, the 6, and then the 5 chord can simply be a 5 chord, or we can use a variation to this, which I like calling the CCM chord, right? And it's basically when we have the 3rd as well as the 4th, right? And it may sound a little bit dissonant without context, right? But it gives it that suspended type of sound, okay? So 1, 4, 6, and then 5, right? So that's an easy way of implementing that pedal point concept in this song, right? I'm trading my sorrow. And the benefit of playing like this is that apart from sounding very CCM, very simple, is that we don't have to move that much throughout the piano or throughout the keyboard, and that allows for other instruments to shine, right? We don't occupy that many frequencies throughout the frequency range, okay? Right, so although we're playing this way, it may get a little bit repetitive, and this is where I like to include substitutions. And I'm actually going to share a small tip or trick that we can use to easily get substitutions for chords that we have in the major scale, right? So in this case, we're in the A flat major scale, right? it's important to know your scales for this trick in particular, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of the chords that we have, and I'm simply going to move them down 2 notes diatonically. So what I mean by diatonically is that we're going to go down 2 notes within the scale, right? So let's say we have a 1 chord, A flat. We're going to substitute it for 2 notes below, right? So A flat, then G, which is the next note in the A flat major scale, right? Going left. Then the next note, which is the second one, is an F. In this case, F is a minor chord within the A flat major scale. Okay, so instead of playing the 1, we're going to play the 6, right? And I'm actually going to go step by step so that you can start hearing the change. Okay, so instead of playing the 1, I'll substitute for the 6, and that progression would sound something like this. I'm trading my sorrows, right? You can start noticing the change. It sounds slightly different, but it doesn't sound off, right? Instead of playing the 1, I'm simply substituting it for the 6. And the reason why this works is because the 6 actually doesn't have that many notes different from the 1, right? The 6, for example, F minor, all we have to do is change this F to an E flat, and we have A flat. That's why it works. So if we apply the same concept to the other chords, for example, the next chord in the progression, right? We had 1, then we go to the 4. We can take this 4 and apply the same concept. We go down 2 notes within the A flat major scale. So 1, 2. And we have a B flat, and if we know our scale, right, we know that the diatonic chord for B flat would be in B flat minor, right? So the 2. So now we're going to play again, starting from the beginning using our substitutions. We started on the 6, right? We substituted the 6 for the 1. So I'm trading, and then we go to the 2 chord, right? So instead of going to the 4, we go to the 2. Now let's see how that sounds. I'm trading my sorrows, right? It still works out. Now, the next chord within the original progression, right, would be a 6 chord. But applying the same concept of going down 2 notes within the scale, we go down to an E flat and then a D flat, right? Or a C sharp. Still within that A flat major scale. We went down 2 notes, and the chord for the C sharp or D flat is a C sharp major or D flat major. Sorry for the confusion there, right? So instead of playing a 6, we're going to play a 4, right? You can actually use the number system to understand this concept even better, right? Instead of playing the 1, we go down 2 numbers. So the 1 is also the 8, right? So we go down to the 7, then to the 6, right? Instead of playing the 4, we go down 2 numbers. So we go down from the 4 down to the 3 and down to the 2, right? And instead of playing the 6, we're going to go down 2 numbers. Instead of playing the 5, we go down to the 4, okay? So let's see how this sounds now. 6, I'm trading my sorrows, right? All we did was substitute 3 chords so far. So 6, I'm trading my shame, I'm trading it all for the Lord, for the joy of the Lord. And we can actually maintain that same concept of using pedal points, right? I'm still using this E flat on top, and I'm voicing all my chords in a way that this E flat is maintained, okay? So 6, 2, 4, and then 5, right? Now, the last chord that we have to substitute, right, or that we have available for substitution would be the 5, and again, we just go down 2 numbers to the 4 and then the 3, right? So we would play a 3 as a substitution for this 5, okay? So it would sound something like this. I'm trading my sorrows, right? It still works out. And it's a different feel or different vibe for the same song or the same progression. And the melody still works out with these same chords, right? So now we have two options when playing this song or when playing this progression, right? For example, we're playing the original progression. Now we switch it up. And we can become creative with the chords that we use. Passing chord, right? Yes, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes. Passing chord, then to the 6, right? So when I'm saying passing chord, in this case, we're using the second progression that we came up with, right? Where we were playing 6, then a 2, then a 4. In this case, I'm maintaining the 5 the same, right? So that we have that same last chord. And I include a passing chord, in this case, E diminished 7th, to get to the 6, right? Or we can think about it as a secondary dominant, right? Where we use the 3, right? As C7, in this case, a C7 flat 9, right? To get to the 6, right? So, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, da, da, 7, 3, 6, right? Another progression we can use to get to that 6th chord, right? Different options that we have. Lord, yes, Lord, amen. Right, so what I'm gonna do now is play the whole song without any interruptions, using some of the concepts that I introduced in this lesson. I'll have a MIDI file for this part of the lesson, that way you guys can download it and practice on your own pace.